We're going to be looking at area and perimeter here today. As many of you know from your previous math experience, that perimeter is the distance around the exterior of a figure. We measure that in units, so that might be, for instance, feet, or it might be centimeters or inches or something like that. Area would be the space inside the figure, and we measure that in square units. So that might be square feet, square inches, square centimeters, square meters, something along those lines. So let's take a look at a really basic example right here. This is a rectangle, and it measures on one side 3 feet and on the other side 5 feet. And so we're going to figure out the perimeter here first. So let's go ahead and write that there. P equals. And to do that, we need to find the distance around it. And to do that, we'll need to add up all 4 sides. Well, if this side is 3, this must be 3 as well. And if this side is 5, then this side must be 5. So we can just add up the 4 sides. 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. So together that means the perimeter would be 16. Now 16 what? In units, well, we're talking about feet, so it'll be 16 feet. Alright, next up we'll take a quick look at area, and I'm going to abbreviate that with A. And to do that, what we would normally do back in grade school would be to simply go ahead and make some lines like this. So this is 3 right here, so I made 3 different areas here, and then I'm going to do 5 this way. And what area would signify would be all that gray space, but how many squares would that be? So we could count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, there's 15. Now you can count them up, and that's great, and this is kind of small, so that's easy to do, but the shortcut is just go ahead and multiply length times width. So it'll be 3 times 5. So we're going to go 3 times 5, and together that means the area would be 15. And in terms of units, what would that be? It would be 15 square feet. Or if you want to write it this way, you could write it as 15 feet with the squared symbol up here. And either one of these two answers would be acceptable here. So let's go ahead right now and let's expand to a bigger example here, and something that's a little more complicated. And you'll see over here that this shape is not a rectangle. And in fact, it's kind of an odd looking shape here. There's really not one particular shape it is, but what we're going to do first is let's figure out the perimeter. Now to do this here, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add up all the sides. Well, as you start looking at all the sides here, you start noticing that, well, A and B, they're letters, they're variables, but we're not sure what they are exactly, so we're going to have to calculate what those are. So let's go ahead and try to figure those out first before we add up all the sides here. And here's the trick. You know that this is side A, and you know that this side down here is 15. And in this case here, if we were to add up these two lengths and make them one line, it would be the exact same length as up here along the top. And so then what we can do is we can say 25, this long piece, must be the same as these two pieces added together. So we can say 25 equals A plus 15. And if we were to subtract 15 from both sides, we would get A equals 10. So that's what A is going to equal. Likewise, if we're going to go ahead here and we're going to look at B, we can do the same kind of logic. And what you could do is you could say, well, this piece is 8 and this piece is 12, and together those add up to be whatever B is. And so what is 8 plus 12? Well, that means B equals 8 plus 12, and 8 plus 12 is 20. So B is going to be 20 long there. Alright, so that's the logic you can use to find the missing sides here. Sometimes you have to do that. Other times all the sides are given to you. So let me go back and erase all this, and let's go ahead and write in those numbers. So this is, excuse me here, it's not 8, this is 10. And this side over here is 20. So now to figure out the perimeter, what we would do is we would say 8 plus the top side is 25, this side is 20, this side is 15, and our last two sides are 12 and 10. And then we go ahead and add those up together. Well, I'm going to add these three together here first. So 8 plus 25 is 33, 33 plus 20 is 53. And then our remaining three sides, 15 plus 12 is 27, 27 plus 10 is 37. So what is 53 plus 37? Well, it's 90. So we're going to get 90. Now what are the units in this case? Well, we don't really know, so we're just going to say 90 units. So that is how we would find the perimeter. Now what we need to do is we need to find the area. So I'm going to write area right over here. Well, this isn't a rectangle, but what we can do is we can actually make this into two separate rectangles. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line right here. So what it does is this is going to be rectangle number 1, and this is going to be rectangle number 2. And if we can find the areas of each of these and then add them together, we're in business here. So let's go ahead and do that then. So in this rectangle here, this side is 8 and this side is 10. And as we talked about back here, the shortcut for area in a rectangle is just take length times width. So we're going to go 8 times 10. 8 times 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to add it to the area of the other rectangle. Well, we need to know this entire side, which is 15, and then this side would be 20. So it's going to be 15 times 20. Be careful you don't fall for it over here. It's not 12. We got to go the entire distance here, so it's 20. Now let's do a little bit of math here. 8 times 10 would be 80. 15 times 20 is 300. And if we add those all together, therefore the area would be 380. And it would be square units, or if you prefer, it would be 380 units with the squared symbol up there. So that's kind of the basics of area and perimeter, and as the year goes on we're going to add on more figures, things like triangles and parallelograms and circles and other things like that, and the figures will get more complicated, but those are the basics.